There are so many problems in the world. Often, when you think about these problems, you can think of logical solutions. But does anybody do anything to solve these? When I was little, I had a passion for drawing, and I was an A+ student. And so obviously my parents wanted me to become something, and they thought that I can combine this to become an architect. So I did, and I made their dream come true. And I was born and raised in Lebanon, in Beirut. And as some of you may know or may not know, that Lebanon just came out of a civil war 20 years ago and still suffers from so many problems, such as lack of public spaces, an overgrowing population, traffic, pollution, among many other problems. And these problems, people do not acknowledge. It's really funny that people just look at the bright side of Lebanon and do not acknowledge all these problems that we're going through. They choose to look at the beaches, the unclean beach, and see it as a beach instead of seeing it as a polluted public space. And so I've noticed that all over the world, so many people accept to just live with these problems instead of doing anything to stop them. Do you know why I chose my major? I wanted to become part of making the world a better place. I wanted to make it safer, more resilient, and better for people. And one day in 2014, I was having a conversation with a classmate about how there's so many problems in Lebanon and how our curriculum as architects does not encourage us to be part of solutions to bigger problems than ourselves. Does not encourage us to think beyond the classroom setting. And so this conversation in the cafeteria in my school turned into a decision. We decided that we're gonna build a community. We brought so many people who wanted to make a change and decided to start Architects for Change. Architects for Change is the first platform in Lebanon that encourages young architects to think beyond the box of their profession, to show that architects build communities and not only buildings, to show the importance of having socially responsible architects. And today we are 83 members, active members, working on including communities. And we are from 16 different universities across Lebanon, and that's something very huge because Lebanon has so many different ethnicities living in. We include communities in the design process. We include communities in the design process and let our members volunteer in implementing these projects. Let me tell you some examples of what we did. We volunteered last summer to build a school for Syrian refugees living in a very underprivileged area in Lebanon. We also asked the kids who are also refugees to draw their dream library. How would you want it to look like? And we actually made their dreams come true. We volunteered to do an installation in a public space in Lebanon to promote the importance of having accessible public spaces. And we took an abandoned building in Beirut and turned it into a cultural space. We worked on an abandoned public garden and wanted to bring the locals and the refugees together. So we started with their children. We gathered the children of the refugees and the locals to come together and design this garden. We are also working right now on renovating an abandoned house in a rural area in Lebanon so that the people living there can have a community space because they don't. And by doing what we do, we are promoting social responsibility of people and architects. We believe in having everyone included in the design process. And we believe that it is the path in becoming the path to sustainable development. Everybody should take part in the design process. And I would like you to all to question your role, whether you are studying in the university or you are a graduate. What's your role in making the world a better place? Thank you, everyone.